So, what is your favorite thing about McNair High School?
My favorite thing about McNair is just, I know it's really cliche, but the diversity of it. I think it's just so cool that there's so many walks of life in here. Like I can look out the door right now and see somebody and just think about their life is so much different than mine. So it's just interesting to always have, always be able to see like different kinds of people.
Awesome. What do you contribute to McNair that nobody else does?
I think I have a unique energy, and I think generally it's positive, and I think that the kind of leadership and because I lead Acadec and other clubs across the school, and I think that kind of just show of leadership really, I think, can help people, and I think it helps me to be able to see what it's like to take the role of a leader, because all throughout school you're always at the whim of your teacher, and so I think it's really cool to kind of get a taste of what it's like to be the opposite and show that to other students.
Which McNair teacher should be the President of the United States, and why?
Okay, so I think Mr. Hochschild should be the President of the United States. And I think so because it would be hilarious to see what kind of presidential campaign he would go through. He wouldn't care about anything. He would just say, oh, you need to do this. And he's like, oh, I don't have time for that. No, there's no. And then also, I think he would make it illegal to have twins. And that would be really funny. So I just want to see the kinds of things he would do. So.
All right, that would be very interesting. What 3 goals do you want to achieve after you graduate, and how do you plan to achieve them?
Okay, so number 1 goal, I want to attend the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. I've always seen them whenever my parents put them on, but this year especially, I love how competitive and intense everything is, and so watching it, I really want to attend it. And I think right now I'm in personal finance, so I'm going to have to save up money to be able to do that, but that's top goal. And then I want to, after high school, I want to try out gymnastics again. I did that as a kid, and I always wish that I could continue that. And I get really jealous watching the Olympics because I'm like,
could have been me.
Could have been me. And so I want to do that again. And then last one would be, I want to write a book. That's a really long-term goal, but that's like the ultimate. I've achieved what I need to achieve in this life.
What kind of book would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. It could be like a sci-fi, thriller, romance.
Tell me about a time where you were really, really proud of yourself, and why.
I wouldn't say that there's one specific time that I felt really proud of myself, but last year I tutored a applied geometry class, or peer tutored it, and that was really hard for me because I'd never really been in a position where so many people depended on me. Of course, I tutored for Mr. Trin, he's a teacher, but still they saw me kind of as second in charge. And I was just really proud of myself that I could get people to learn, and more than that, get them to want to do something that they didn't want to do. And that was a big for me.
Tell me about a time that you suffered a disappointment, and how did you deal with it?
So I joined tennis in my sophomore year, and I sucked. I was terrible at it. But I kept, a lot of other people sucked too, so that was good. I didn't feel too left out. Mm-hmm. But I started to be able to get the ball over the net, so progress. And I felt good about myself, and then we got to our first game, and I had to play doubles, and I didn't know how to play doubles. And I'd never done, well, I'd done cross country before, but that's not really kind of a competition team sport. So that was really my first game or match, and I couldn't hit the ball over the net at all. When I'd hit it, it would go out, and I felt so bad because my teammate, he'd been on tennis for over a year, so he's like, what is this guy doing? You know? And so I felt the worst after that. I felt like I was worthless, pretty much, and it was hard, but I kept trying. You know, that's what you do. You just keep going, and you tell yourself that it's okay if you're bad.
Yeah.
You know, you just know it.
So who's your role model and why?
Role model. Honestly, once again, it's a cliche, but it's the truth, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say my mom. My mom is my role model because she is an immigrant from the Philippines, and she came with nothing. She was adopted, and she and her and my grandmother, they really had not much, and she has 6 kids. So she never ever showed the fact that we've struggled at all, and that boggles my mind. I have no idea how she could do it, and she still does it to this day. And so I wish that I could be as strong of a person as she is, and as compassionate and as determined as she is.
Could never ever do, and why?
One job I could never ever do, I could never be a salesperson. I like to talk, but I can't. I feel like I bother people, and that would just eat at me. I couldn't go up to them and say, "Oh, do you have a minute?" And if they reject me, I take it personally. I'll think, "Oh, it was me," you know, and I just can't. It would hurt me emotionally,
Yeah.
spiritually.
Yeah.
What fact about you surprises people the most, and why?
A lot of people are surprised that I did gymnastics, that I can walk on my hands and do cartwheels and front flips. And it's really cool because they always ask, "Oh, go do something." And I just feel like I would look like a big show off if I did that. But a lot of people don't know that, but I really enjoy it.
That's awesome. Tell me about your best friend and what makes them so special.
My closest friend, Sabrina Quinn, she's such a caring person. Really, I guess everybody would say that, but honestly, she tutors little kids at Kumon, and I just think that's the most adorable and greatest thing. I think I would be really scared to do that. I don't know how to handle kids, and so the fact that she can have that patience and that caring, I think it inspires me to be a better person, and I think that's the best thing that a friend can do for you. And honestly, she's really clever too. So a good laugh is always good. So I really look forward to having those with her.
Pretend you won the lottery. What would you do with your first million, and why?
My first million? I think what I would do, I would finance the people who have the craziest ideas, because those are the ones that don't make it, right? Like if, I don't know, they wanted to find a way to make a jetpack run on cereal or something, like they're not going to get funded. So that's where I come in. I want to see where that's going, Yeah. So, and then I'll be known for the person who got it going.
Yeah.
So
If it works.
It'll work.
Okay. If you were the ruler of your own country, what would be the first law you would introduce and why?
I would introduce a law that you can't drive faster than 20 miles per hour because everyone will be so mad. There will be so much honking all day, and I think I would just sit outside and just watch it go on. It would be the most hilarious thing, would it not? I
It
mean,
would take me like 5
Also,
hours
I
to
would
come
never
to
be
work.
here.
I know.
None
No
of
one
us would be
like
here
it.
on time.
It would be great.
That would be awful.
Sounds like a terrible.
Sounds like an evil person. If you could get away with a crime, would you? And what would that crime be?
So I'd get away with burglary. I would go to Simone Biles' house, and I will take her gold medal. Just so that I can live the gymnastic dream that I never
Stealing
got to
Simone
achieve.
Biles.
Okay.
She's got plenty of them, right?
And
You're
then-
just gonna steal one.
Then that would be an excuse for me to meet her, because then maybe
She'd have
I
to
haven't thought
testify
about it.
against you?
I haven't
Long
thought
game.
about it thoroughly, but I could maybe say, "Oh, you dropped it," and here I am to give it back.
Yeah.
I mean, not give it back. I mean, give
Here
it.
you go. What single message would you send to an advanced alien species and why?
I would ask them if they can explain our purpose in the world. I go through plenty of existential crises, and so I'd really want to know, why are we here?
That's a good question. Okay, so last one. Pretend you're walking home and you're bit by a supernatural being. Would you want to turn into a vampire or a werewolf, and why?
Okay, I think I've spent way too much time thinking about this, but I would want to be a vampire. One reason being, I have braces, and so being a werewolf, you change day and night. And I just feel like that would be a problem with the teeth, you know. And so I wouldn't want that. If I were a vampire, they'd be things all the time, so that's okay. And then, well, if I'm a vampire and the ruler of the world, then I could just have a universal umbrella, you know? So then I can go out in the day. And being a vampire, I feel like, is a lot easier to hide. Like werewolf, the hair and the, you know, that.
Not so cute. Yeah. Perfect.
Right. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
you.
How come nobody's doing the Twilight?